History remembers BlackBerry as a fallen giant, a company that once ruled the smartphone world and then vanished almost overnight. But what if things had gone differently? What if BlackBerry had adapted faster, taken bolder risks, and anticipated the shift that Apple and Google brought to the industry? Could it have survived the smartphone revolution? In this what-if tech scenario, we'll explore an alternate timeline, one where BlackBerry didn't fall behind, where its legendary keyboard coexisted with touchscreens, and where the company remained a global force in innovation. The world before the fall in the early 2000s, BlackBerry was the smartphone. It was a status symbol for professionals and leaders. Presidents, CEOs, and entrepreneurs carried it everywhere. The BlackBerry email system was fast, reliable, and secure, and its keyboard was iconic. At its height in 2008, BlackBerry held over 50% of the US smartphone market and nearly 20% globally. It had something even Apple didn't trust. Governments and corporations relied on it because of its bulletproof encryption and server control. But behind this success, the seeds of complacency were growing. The company believed its dominance was unshakable. It saw consumer-focused phones as toys and dismissed the touchscreen as impractical. When Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone in 2007, BlackBerry executives reportedly laughed. That laughter would soon turn to silence. The moment everything changed, the iPhone didn't just introduce a new device, it rewrote the rules. Apple made smartphones personal, intuitive, and entertaining. Suddenly, phones weren't just for emails and calls. They were mini computers for everything: web browsing, music, photos, and later apps. BlackBerry's response. The BlackBerry Storm, its first touchscreen phone, but the storm was rushed, buggy, and clunky. It was the beginning of the end. Users who expected Apple's smooth experience got frustration instead. The Storm's failure wasn't just technical, it was symbolic. It showed that BlackBerry didn't understand the new world. But what if it had? What if, Scenario 1, BlackBerry embraced touch early? Imagine it's 2006. Rumors are swirling about Apple's secret phone project. Inside BlackBerry's headquarters in Waterloo, Canada, Mike Lazaridis decides not to ignore the trend. Instead of doubling down on keyboards, he forms a touchscreen task force, a division dedicated to developing a hybrid device. This team experiments with a dual-mode BlackBerry, a classic keyboard model, and a companion full-touch version. The goal: to give users the best of both worlds: physical typing for professionals and sleek glass for the growing consumer market. By mid-2007, when Apple releases the iPhone, BlackBerry unveils the BlackBerry Horizon, a powerful, secure, and touch-friendly smartphone with access to a small but growing ecosystem of apps. With early adoption of capacitive touchscreen technology and a developer-friendly platform, BlackBerry retains its image as the go-to professional brand, but now with consumer appeal. In this world, the BlackBerry Horizon becomes the company's iPhone moment. The brand evolves without losing its soul. What if Scenario 2 BlackBerry built the App Store first? Apple's true masterstroke wasn't the iPhone hardware, it was the App Store. By giving developers and users an open marketplace, Apple turned the smartphone into a platform for infinite innovation. But here's the twist. BlackBerry could have done it first. Before Apple's App Store launched in 2008, BlackBerry already had millions of dedicated users and developers building small third-party tools. If RIM had recognized the power of software ecosystems early and created the BlackBerry marketplace in 2006, it could have captured developers before Apple did. Imagine a world where BB apps were as common as iOS apps. Games, productivity tools, and secure messaging could have thrived on a BlackBerry-powered app economy. The company could have built revenue from both hardware and digital services, the exact model Apple would later perfect. In this alternate timeline, BlackBerry remains the world's leading smartphone company, a hybrid of Apple's design and Google's scale. What if Scenario 3, BlackBerry partnered with Android? Perhaps the most realistic what-if scenario is one where BlackBerry partners with Google instead of competing against it. When Android first emerged, it was open source, meaning manufacturers could use and customize it freely. Samsung, HTC, and others jumped in early and built massive success. But imagine if BlackBerry had done the same. Instead of clinging to its proprietary BlackBerry OS, the company could have built BlackBerry Secure Android, a version of Android enhanced with its legendary encryption and enterprise tools. It would have been a perfect combination. Google's expansive app ecosystem and BlackBerry's security. In fact, this idea almost happened. The BlackBerry Priv in 2015 was exactly that, an Android phone with a slide-out keyboard and BlackBerry security. But by then, it was too late. The brand had faded. Had BlackBerry partnered with Android back in 2009, it might have created a trusted alternative to Apple, a secure, professional, and flexible Android ecosystem. The reality, innovation delayed, so why didn't these scenarios happen? Because BlackBerry's leadership misunderstood the psychology of technology. They believed users wanted function, not feeling. They assumed people would always value practicality over experience. But Apple proved that emotion drives adoption. People didn't just want powerful tools, they wanted beautiful experiences. BlackBerry's hesitation to adapt wasn't a technical failure, it was a cultural one. By the time the company embraced touchscreens, app ecosystems, and Android integration, Apple and Google had already set the rules. BlackBerry was forever playing catch-up in a game it once led. The lessons of what if. Looking back, BlackBerry's fall and its unrealized potential offers timeless lessons for every tech company. Disruption doesn't wait for you to believe in it. The smartphone revolution didn't care that BlackBerry was successful. Change happens whether you're ready or not. Success can breed blindness. When you're on top, it's easy to mistake comfort for invincibility. BlackBerry thought its dominance would protect it. It didn't. Adaptation is faster than perfection. Apple's first iPhone wasn't perfect, but it captured imagination. BlackBerry waited for perfection and missed its moment. Listen to the future, not the past. The company kept building for the corporate elite, while the next generation wanted creativity, apps, and entertainment. Could BlackBerry have survived? Yes, absolutely. The technology, talent, and trust were all there, but survival required something more powerful than engineering: vision. If BlackBerry had seen the future not as a threat, but as an invitation to evolve, it might have become a permanent pillar of the smartphone world. The brand could have coexisted with Apple, shaping a different balance between productivity and play. In many ways, the company's later pivot to cybersecurity and automotive software shows it did survive, just not in the form we expected. BlackBerry didn't win the smartphone war, but its story reminds us that innovation without imagination leads to extinction. And in an alternate timeline, one where risk trumped caution, we might all still be typing on those tiny, perfect keys.